Hello, FewCandy here, and welcome back to another episode of Cities Skylines. And it feels like a while since we recorded the last Auridon episode. A lot has happened, actually, since then. So firstly, we had the collaboration with Overcharged Egg, where he built this light industrial port and fishing harbour out here, and it is so nice to see all these fishing boats around the Auridon waters here. It's looking pretty awesome. And I love seeing these cargo boats come in as well. They come in right past the Statue of Liberty and into here. We'll wait and see if we can see one. And yeah, and then we've got the fish market, this other little market. The detailing here is just awesome. Look at this little industrial area, storage area here with the little security gate as well. He's just absolutely nailed the Auridon vibes. Absolutely love it. So if you haven't seen this episode, do hop over to Overcharged Egg's channel where you can watch it. And here we go, we've got our big cargo boats floating in. Yeah, the waters of Auridon are getting busy. They're getting busy. And then, of course, we did come in on a live stream and start to flesh out this little transport hub commercial area that we can see here, which still needs a lot of work. So that's where I'm going to start off today, is by finishing off this area with a little bit of detailing. So things like this eatery area here, I want to spin this round, because looking at it now, having the backs of these stools onto this fountain just looks really strange. So I'm going to come in and spin that round. We'll also do a lot of touching up around the station here that we didn't really do, and a lot more detailing around the Mall of Moderation, some market stalls at the back, touching up this front area, and also the backs of these commercial buildings here, and finishing off where this posh mall is going to sit. So still, yeah, quite a bit of detailing and a few holes to fill in that we just didn't manage to do on the stream, but I think it was coming together reasonably well. So to start off with, today I am going to jump into a time lapse and we'll finish off these bits. And there we have it. So yeah, I have just tidied up quite a few things. So we have sorted out this little back road here for this small commercial area. I've changed all of the spawn points as well so that they're all coming onto this back road now, so the industrial trucks will have to go down there to serve them, and added in a few props and a bit of detailing down the back there. Just fleshed this out the other side as well, and then of course have now placed in properly the posh mall here with the Lazarette Plaza outside. I've just noticed the big bike sign as well. I might bob that out. That looks a little bit strange. Yeah, a couple of market stalls I couldn't resist around the front, which I think, yeah, looks nice around the Lazarette Plaza there. But I think that has fitted in okay. Done a little bit more detailing outside the Mall of Moderation. I have actually added in this commercial building outside the front here. I mean, it's got the same horrendous donut squirrel sign as the Mall of Moderation's got there. But I think actually colours-wise it fits in quite well, and it just gives a little bit of variation to the Mall of Moderation. A little bit of a customisation, shall we say. I have put in a post office down here as well, because I realise we're quite lacking in that actually across Auridon. So that's something that I do need to come on and look at. And yeah, quite a bit of detailing outside the front of the Grand Library here, just to break up all of the heavy concrete grey texture, because it's very, very grey on this theme. So a bit of tiling work I think helps to make that look a lot nicer. Obviously a couple of street trees there as well. And then we have just added in a bit more commercial in front of the train station here. So I think it has all come together pretty nicely. The one thing I do need to look at is this tram line, because there are so many people waiting here. It's absolutely insane. So let's just check this line out. And you'll see when we come down here, yeah, we've got 357 people waiting at this stop. So yeah, not ideal at all, but all of the trams are pretty much full from that point onwards. So to start off with, we're definitely going to add a few more trams to the line. So I think we'll just add 3 for now. But the other thing I am going to do, because I've got the improved public transport mod, is a little bit of, you could say cheating, but I don't think so. We're just going to extend the capacity of each tram. So I'm just going to up it to 120. In fact, let's do 125, because I think that's pretty reasonable. Oh, we'll do 126 apparently. But I think that's pretty reasonable for a tram of this size. I don't know. People squeeze onto trams, don't they? I think you could fit 100 people in there. You see all these people just flooding out of the station onto this line. So hopefully that will help to clear a little bit of it. I don't think it's probably going to go quite far enough. I'm not sure how they've managed to get 135 people on a tram of 126 capacity, but I'll ignore that for now. So the other thing we can do is have a look at where they're all going. So if we follow this tram round for a little bit, we can see where people are getting off. So it does appear that everyone is wanting to get over here to prepare to market. And I mean, this stop is just seriously busy as well. So I am wondering if we should help them out a little bit. So they do have a metro connection where they could go from the Pink Lady Park, as I have called it, with our pink clock tower. They could go from here out to this stop and then back in to prepare to market, but that seems a little bit long-winded. So I'm wondering if we join up this underground station with another underground station here to just give them a different option on the metro. Because I think people will still take the tram because there's multiple stops in amongst these suburbs here. But this will just give them a direct connection to this other major transport hub here. So people coming in from that intercity train will be able to get straight over to prepare to market, where they can get on the bus, they can get on the tram, they can get on the other metro if they should so please. And then also there is a link to the ferries as well. So that is what we will do. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to bob out these props underneath the metro station here. So I think it's, yeah, these plant pots. Let's get rid of those, and these park benches as well. We'll just get rid of all of those. We can, of course, add some more in further down the line. Oh, we've got some bins as well, so let's not forget about those. I think it's those ones, isn't it? Yeah. So let's remove them. So we've got a nice clear path down there, and then what we will do is grab a 1 unit road, no parking, and go straight underneath here. Now we've got Anarchy on, because what I'm going to do is then bring out a underground metro station in this side. So let's just clear out this foliage from here, clear a little bit more space, and then we will, I'm thinking I am going to use the content creator underground metro as well, just because it's nice to be able to see the trains underneath. So I like that effect. So yeah, let's go ahead and place that in, and again there's a little bit more room for detailing here. We can come out and fill this area out, which I think I will do, because it feels a little bit odd to be so green next to the bus station, the high school complex, and of course the transport hub here. Then what we want to do is connect up that underground metro line. That should do absolutely fine. And I know this is a single platform. We could upgrade it to the double platform, but I don't think I will for this. I think it would be just fine just to leave it like that. So let's just go ahead and connect in a shuttle metro backwards and forwards. And so after a little bit of time watching that, we appear to have absolutely nobody using that shuttle. They are still preferring to go over here and wait for the tram, which, to be fair, it is clearing, it is getting on. So maybe it's okay. But I was thinking we could help them out even further by moving the metro station up to here, so we have a different metro station, and we could just use the vanilla one for this, which we can squeeze on in to the corner here. So I'm just going to reroute the line that we have just put in. So now we'll need to go down a little bit further here to get underneath this line, but then we can of course bring that back up, and we'll reroute it this way. So there we go. So we can check back again and see if anyone is actually going to use it this time. See if that helps at all, which I think it will, because it's now right up next to this train station. So yeah, it should definitely help. And I can see already we do have people using it. I just saw someone sneaking in there. If I can pick it up. We've got 1 person, 2 people using it. So hopefully that should help. Yeah, there's a few more people hovering around it now. Another person going in. So yeah, that should definitely help. So now for the main focus of today's episode, I actually want to sort out our public utilities area. So you may remember actually way back to, I think it was even the second episode, when we moved out power and sewage over to this side. I did say we would come back and do a small power plant here. Obviously, we ended up with our big Bill Watts power plant over this side. But in this space, I do want to come on and put in a sewage works and also integrate our recycling centre a little bit better as well. So we are going to completely redesign this area today. So first things first, I am just going to pause the game, and we're going to delete out that coal power plant that we definitely don't need, because when we look at our power consumption as well, we're way over the odds, because we've got this mega power plant up here with a couple of geothermal power plants and the solar updraft of course as well. I am actually going to keep this geothermal power plant, I think, and try and incorporate it as part of this waterworks build. So for the time being, I'm just going to move it over this side. Let's turn tree anarchy off so we can see it. But we'll just move it over there for the moment so we can clear out some space for where we're going to put the main waterworks. I've just shifted everything out of the way to clear us some space. And what I would like to do in here is centre everything around a very small canal. So we will have a few different bridges and different infrastructure going backwards and forwards over this to give us the effect that we want. But what I would like, I want that to snap to 180 ideally. There we go. But yeah, what I would like is this kind of central canal reservoir type area around all of the different water assets. So something roughly like that, and we may just move it around a bit as we place in the assets. So we definitely want to have quite a few of these sewage outlets. So now when we look at the sewage options that we have. I am absolutely not going to be using any of the outlets because I just can't stand the idea of polluted water. Even though we've got pollution turned off, I still just don't like it. So we're definitely not going to be using those. We are just going to be focusing on the inland water treatment plants, which come with the Sunset Harbour DLC. But there are a couple of different options for them. So we have just the regular inland water treatment plant, and we also have an advanced or an eco one, and also then the advanced. But when we look at the advanced, so it has a drain capacity of 160,000 and an upkeep of 640. This one actually has a drain capacity of 120 and takes up essentially half the space of one of these larger ones. So in terms of space, these are actually a lot better. So what I'm going to do is focus on putting many more of those in as opposed to the larger ones, because I just feel like that works a lot more efficiently. So just placing these assets in, I want them quite close together and right up against this canal network here. So if we push that right up, but yeah, you see there is a bit of an overlap, so ordinarily they'd be like this. But if we move them up close together, we can kind of merge those barrels in the middle a little bit. The water towers don't look too silly. Barrels there look absolutely fine. So all in all, that just looks a little bit better and a little bit neater than having them super spread out. So we'll just grab this third one and do exactly the same with that as well. So we've got a nice big line of these treatment plants here. So now before we get too far, I do just want to organise the road network. So let's grab our industrial roads again, and we are just using a 1 unit road coming into here, which is fine. I don't expect massive amounts of traffic coming into the sewage works, but what we will do is just take it up to there. Let's turn Anarchy on to get this over. We will just bring out this road straight over this canal network like that. Now here, if we just upgrade this segment to a bridge segment, we end up getting this red kind of iron barring on it, which I really like and I think will work really well in this area to give a slightly more heavy industrial look to our sewage plant. So I'm very happy with how that looks there. And what I would like as well when we come in is I'd like, same with all of our other industrial areas, is I would like a bit of a main office type area, a kind of a welcome place essentially for anyone visiting it. So I will just take a wider road, and in fact I am going to upgrade this all the way down so we have got the 2 unit industrial road like that. And then in the middle of that, we will place a car park. And actually what I'm going to do here is not connect it up to the roads. So I'm going to turn off snapping to nodes for this. And we are just going to draw it in like so. And then we'll use move it to get it into the middle here. And the reason being is I just don't want all the extra nodes on these roads in this industrial area. So this will give us the same effect as a car park, but without all the additional crossings and nodes, etc. on the roads. So yeah, quite happy with how that looks. And then of course we'll go ahead and place in some spaces. Now let's just have a little look at office assets for our main admin area. And I quite like these ones with the brick effect on them. So let's just place in 2 of those. And what we can do with these as well is let's just spin this one round so that we've got this corner foyer entrance on the other side. But what we can do is just merge these together again so that we get a slightly bigger brick building look to it. And the roofs work really nicely on these buildings, just bringing them together. Everything works all the way around. So yeah, happy with that. And then what we will do is just reset this one so we get 2 of the same colour. And there we go. And it's quite a nice looking building, this one, actually. And I'll just bring that out slightly further so we can put a little forecourt plaza area on the front when we come to do the detailing as well. And we'll use Surface Painter to fill this all in. And then probably have maybe a little food truck or something to help service all the workers in this area. As well, just to give this building a little bit of variation, I'm actually going to take another office asset, this slightly more modern office asset, to make it look like an extension to this building, because the height of this asset works near on perfectly with this building, just covering up those first 2 floors there, and we can get it so that it aligns nicely at the back here as well. so that it looks like it has just been built on a more modern extension to these old brick offices that we can see there. Now, coming on to a few more water assets, what we want is I want this to fill up with water. So what I'm actually going to do here, I'm just going to remove some of these pipes so we can tidy up this area and redo it all in just a second. But what I want here is a kind of a closed network, essentially, of a water outlet, which I will put, I think, right down the end here, but then also a water pumping station. Because what this means is we can fill up the water with this outlet and then pump it back out with the water pump. So it serves absolutely no purpose other than to get water in our canal. And what I actually will need to do just to get it started actually is just attach a water tower like this so that we have some water coming in. Otherwise this one's not pumping up anything and this one's got nothing to spit out. And I've just realised I've clicked play and we haven't connected any of our sewage, so let's just connect it up before we completely kill our city. And there we go, so we have got water coming out of the water outlet here. This one will start to pump it back up and it should just be a kind of infinite loop because it's not connected up to the main water pipes there, so there won't be any overlap from that point of view. So we should continuously have water coming out and water going back out of there, which will keep our canal with some water in it. Now what I would like to introduce over here as well, is just to give a little bit of variation, is a couple of the eco treatment plants. So I'm just going to place in 2 of these. And then what we'll do is we'll just spin these around and arrange them slightly differently so that we get these cylinders looking really nice up against this water reservoir canal area as well. And there's lots of opportunity for detailing here, so we'll come in with lots of heavy industrial fence, surface painter definitely to get rid of some of these green areas, and a few props for sure. And then let's just continue to extend this road out and round so that we get it down to this treatment plant there. Now there are some other assets we can put into here. So we do have the pumping surface as well, which if we do have any floods, and we are near water in Auridon, so that is perfectly possible, we will need that so that we can send out pumping trucks to rid the areas of their flood water. So I definitely want to introduce this. Now this is quite a large building though, so I'm actually thinking that it should come over this side and be as slightly closer to this road where we go through all of these different industrial areas, past Woodpecker's Brewery and Fur Trade there. And we've also obviously got the tram depot in this area too, which I think, you know, height-wise, they go reasonably nicely together. So I'm thinking I will just put it up alongside there. I would like to have a path coming through here, so I will just draw that out because anyone travelling by tram will stop here and then they can walk through to the sewage treatment plant if that's where they work. So I'll just adjust that just a tiny bit so those lights are nice and snug up against the fence there, and then we'll bring this in and round so again that's nice and snug up against that path. Now we do also need a road to this clearly, so let's just grab our 1 unit industrial again, and we won't connect it up to the tram turnaround there. We will bring it out into the water treatment plant. I'll just bring it out like so, and we'll bring in a road nice and tightly down the side of it, just like that, and then feed it into our main network here. So there we can start to see this slightly heavier industrial look coming into our sewage treatment plant just there. And then so what we will do the other side of the road is continue to place in our sewage assets, and we'll have a couple of the large advanced treatment plants which have heavy fencing all around them. Now with these large assets I want to think a little bit more carefully about placement with them. So I think what we will do is use Bob to remove the industrial fence so that we can try and combine them a little bit more cleverly together. So I am now thinking that I want to try and incorporate this freshwater outlet slightly into it. So I'm wondering if we have it coming out of this tank here from this side, so we can kind of merge that in. And then these ones, again, I'd like to line up those cylinders. So I'm thinking what we will do is place this asset here. And then, so I think in this corner as well, we're going to add in another eco plant there. just to vary that up. And then we can fence in this area as if it is one compound here. Now we just need to make sure, of course, that they are all connected by road. So let's turn snapping back on and we'll bring out our main entrance here. And then what I will do is bring a road essentially all the way around the outside of it, which will give us our border for the compound as well. And we'll make sure that they all think that they are connected up. So we just need to adjust this road in here to try and squeeze it into this gap right in front of this building here, which does just about fit quite nicely in there. And we can just bring it on through as if it's a main entrance. And in fact, actually, just to decorate it up, because this is a 1-unit road, we can squeeze in another bit down here because we've got those bins there. So I think it makes sense that trucks would drive all the way in and round this compound. So again, that just adds a little bit of difference to it. And we can do the same up this side as well. So let's bring this road in to the compound here so that trucks can drive right in and round. And I'm not sure what's happened there. We've got two nodes very, very close together. So that was what that glitching was. So let's just go ahead and move those up so we don't have any traffic issues on that point. And then as well, I will move these nodes in closer so that everything is nice and snug around the edge of this compound. So we will come through in the detailing time lapse and add fencing and a few different props and maybe some other generic industrial buildings into that area there as well, just to flesh that out. Now I think in this side as well, we can add in a few more sewage. I'm just going to go completely overboard. Like, we're absolutely fine for capacity, but I want this to be one of the main areas and, you know, not have to put in too many more areas for sewage. So we are just going to go a little bit overboard and add in a few more sewage plants. Now on this side, I am just going to add in our recycling centres as well that we wanted to incorporate into this area. I feel like they'd fit quite nicely on this corner, particularly once we've fenced in this area as well with fencing all around it. It will have a pretty heavy industrial type look. So let's just grab a second recycling centre and add that in as well so that we do have two down here. I need to be a little bit careful of that terrain. So what we will do there is, because that's pushed it up, and I mean we've got all our rocks around here, so it makes sense to just continue that on. So let's grab some of the same rocks and just put them right up against the recycling centre here, so that doesn't look too strange like that. And then we just need to again grab our 1-unit industrial road to bring it out to service these buildings here. So now I am just going to delete out this water tower before this overflows too much, and these should just hopefully just continue to work on a continuous loop, so outputting and pulling in there. If we have any flooding issues, I will keep my eye on it. We may have to change up the setting, but I think that is generally okay. And I also have just popped in another eco treatment plant there as well to flesh out this part of the compound, but I think all in all that area is coming together quite nicely. So now the other building I did want to incorporate into here was the geothermal power plant, and I'm feeling like this space up the end here is probably a good place for it. So I think it looks quite nice up against the water pumping station here. It's a similar height with those towers. With the steam coming out, it looks pretty cool there. So all we'd need to do now is extend this road up to make sure we've got a road connection for it. So just checking orientation of that from a few different places, and we will come back and fill this in with trees, but it's starting to look quite nice. Low height, industrial, few little bits of height with the pumping station and the steam towers there from the geothermal power plant. I think overall it's not looking too bad. So I think that is the main outline of our sewage plant. And when we look at capacity now as well, we are just absolutely way over the odds. I don't know if this will do the entire city by the time we're finished. We'll probably have to have another plant, but it should go a very long way towards that at least, which is exactly what we wanted. So what we will do in a detailing time lapse is come through and add in a few different industrial type prop areas and maybe a couple of generic industry buildings, warehouses, that sort of thing down here as well. Flesh it out with a bit of a tree barrier along the main road there and out towards the lake this side too. And then lots of detailing around these different plant areas. So lots of surface painter. I'll probably bob out all of these bushes that we can see there. Lots of fencing to give it that heavy industrial type vibe. And that will probably do for this area. So I will go ahead and jump into a detailing time lapse and be right back. And there we go. So this was relatively simple to detail up. We've just added in a few props and actually some of the 1x1 generic industry buildings into here as well, just to fill in some of these blank spaces that we had along this road here and across on this side as well. I've added in a bit more generic industry around the admin building here and another little extension to it as well. A couple of benches around it, but nothing too much. Little food truck out there to serve the workers. Interestingly, no one is using this car park, which makes me think we probably do need to connect it up, so I will have a look at that afterwards as well. And then, yeah, we've got lots of fencing in around these compounds, a few more props here and there, fencing all the way around to give it that secure vibe. A little bit of fencing along the edge of the canal waterfront here too. And then just filled in these gaps outside with some trees to give it some protection. So we can see from the side of the lake here, you can definitely see that industrial type look across the water, but it's a little bit more hidden than it was before behind those trees. So we are definitely absolutely fine for sewage and water as well. Water we were before, but yeah, sewage is now more than covered for what we'll need. We've got 2 recycling centres in finally as well, which will definitely help that rubbish situation. And then the final thing I did want to do just before we close off today was come back over here and check the transport situation. So we can see that there are not as many people waiting for this tram. And in fact, that's not even full, that tram coming out of there. And when we check on this metro station as well, we've got 71 people using it. Let's just have a little look at the line. There's one train going backwards and forwards. I mean, that has definitely seemed to help the tram traffic that we had going on there. So we might be able to lower the capacity back of those trams back down to 90 as it was before. Because, yeah, this seems a little bit overkill now. So yeah, that certainly seems to have helped that tram traffic a bit. And if I just scoot on back over to prepare to market, I mean, we've still got tons of people waiting here. The trams are definitely a popular option, right? Definitely a popular option around Auridon. And then we have this metro station, yeah, which is getting used. It is getting used. So a few different transport options for connections now in this area. So next episode, we have quite a high residential demand, so we will be satisfying that. And I also want to come in and fill out this area here around this metro station, because that's also now looking pretty blank. And I think it would be nice to give it a little bit of height behind this elevated metro station at the back here as well. So we'll be certainly looking to do that in the next episode. But the main focus will be a residential expansion out in this area, and also getting in this intersection as well to keep traffic flowing nicely. But for today, that is going to be it. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you have enjoyed it, please do whack that like button. Drop me a comment below. Let me know any name suggestions for our public services campus here. And otherwise, I will catch you next time. Bye bye.